This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Welcome back in. I don't know what we're doing today. Be honest with you.
Over the place.
We didn't even know that Ramsey was going to Villarica. And now I just noticed that the NBA schedule is coming out today at 2:15, and we haven't even mentioned it. I haven't even said a word about it.
Well, that's tomorrow's show.
Do we even prepare for shows? Do we even think about what we want to talk about?
No.
I want to tell you this. If Cooper Flagg's not playing on Christmas Day, I'm out. I quit the NBA.
When in doubt.
Give me Dallas on Christmas Day or else, NBA.
Yep.
Adam Silver.
I'm done with the NBA because of what they did to the Warriors in Week 4.
I need to know if Zachary Chardonnay is going to be opening up in Atlanta or not. If not, I'm out.
Zach Charbonnet, you mean the running back?
Zachary.
Zach Charbonnet, the running back from UCLA, went to Michigan.
Here's a trivia question for you guys.
Yes.
After Cooper Flagg, can you give me one of the next 4 picks in the NBA draft?
Harper.
Guy from Rutgers. One of the two.
I think both
Harper,
of them.
like the author?
Yeah. Harper Lewis.
Dylan Harper was second. He went to the
NBA.
Yes,
Comets.
Spurs. Comets. Okay, can you give me another of the top 5?
Yeah, Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey was
the guy
number
from
5.
Rutgers, yeah.
2? The Jazz. He's correct. Out of?
Rutgers. Yeah.
Oh, I like that John says that like everyone.
I knew that Rutgers had 2 top
Rutgers.
5 players. I knew that. I don't know how, but they did.
Who was the first SEC player taken?
Dalton Knecht last year.
I love that I'm asking
I know
you guys
who it
like this,
should have
like I
been.
would have any idea.
I know who it should have been.
Okay. Janai Broom?
Mark Sears.
It wasn't. The first SEC player taken in the draft went 6th to the Wizards.
The Wiz?
His name was? Yes, Trey Johnson out of Texas. And then next was Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma. Now we know why we brought him into the league. We need more NBA draft prowess. Thank you, Texas and Oklahoma, for helping us out there.
Don't worry. Arkansas and Kentucky have us from this point forward with the draft prospects.
Oh, really? Let me scroll for the first Kentucky player taken.
Got him.
Scrolling. I see Auburn. I see Arkansas. I see Florida multiple times. Oh, yeah. The 41st pick in the draft. Anybody want to take a guess who that was? Out of Kentucky to the Warriors.
One of the twins.
I'll give you the first name. Kobe.
Johnson.
John?
Winston.
Damian. Bray.
Yeah, whatever, Damian.
Now spell it.
B-R-E with an apostrophe.
Nope.
Just like his first name, Kobe, and then yeah.
B-R-E-A. No, we don't know anything about anything. By the way, Amari Williams did get drafted out of Kentucky 46th to the Magic.
G League. Oh.
I just love that the Bucks at 47 took Boblazub Markovic from Mega Basket. Dude, if you're a starter for Mega Basket, you know you're bringing it. Nobody wants to see Mega Basket on the schedule.
Nope.
All right. He joins us each and every week. Thanks to our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly. It's the Coach, Wimp Sanderson. How we doing, Coach?
Well, let me apologize for being on this show. I didn't know I was going to have to hear all that stuff about nothing. I'm ready. I'm sitting here waiting to be on the show, and y'all don't want me on anymore. And I brag on y'all all the time how smart you are.
Come on, Coach.
You're not smart in that case.
You don't mean that.
All right. Oh, yeah, I think y'all are good, but y'all talk too much today. I got too much. I don't have that much to say, but I always come up with a football question. I'll have one at the end of the show, I guess.
We're trying to tee up basketball for you, Coach.
I bragged on Greg. I bragged on Cole all the time. I bragged on Greg about what he said about Auburn's going to be better than people think. I get calls on my radio show saying, "Well, Greg, you brag on him too much." I said, well, those two guys are pretty smart. They know football better than anybody, and that's what they had to say. And Auburn's going to be better. And the other factor is you can't criticize the offensive coordinator for calling a bad play because you don't know who's going to call it now. That's the offensive guy came out, Nix came out and said 3 of them. So explain to me and to our listeners, Greg, and I'm sure you already have, but I hadn't heard the show. All I heard was that junk y'all just gave. What about calling each play? If there's 3 guys thinking about the offense and you have to call each play as it goes down, how does that work?
We kind of said it earlier, Coach. Like I don't love that arrangement. Now, I don't know if that's actually what the arrangement is, but it's 3 cooks in the kitchen. Like I need to know,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just feels like a lot. I think a singular voice is super helpful. Now you can delegate third down sometimes. So a lot of teams do. It's not that uncommon. You can delegate red zone from time to time, but man, I just don't know if it's the best thing for continuity, cohesiveness, accountability, all that. I don't know if it is.
Well, it kind of goes back to the time that Hugh Freeze said he called the long pass against California after Auburn win the game. He sort of took credit for, I call that play. I call that pass. And he's a friend of mine. I'm not kidding. That's the truth. But I think it's difficult. I think one guy has to do it. He may get information when the team's on defense, and you're talking about the offense, your offense. But I think 3 of them are difficult. All right, for both of you guys, money's important. I'm not a naive old guy. You think I am, but I'm not. And I coached at a different era. I think this day and time that, yes, the money's important, so everybody's going to laugh. But I think the relationship that you try to form after you've had a couple of wins, and I point to Georgia, I'll point to Clemson, just two of them. The relationship it's kind of on the relationship factor. Yes, the money's involved. Yes, you're going to have some people quit. But I want both of y'all to. I think the relationship you have with your players, and I mash my guys, but you're not going to back off of them because you think they're going to quit. That they're going to quit on you because you're too hard on them. I'd like for both of you, a quarterback and a lineman, to talk to that idea right now, please.
I think it's very real in today's college football. I've heard multiple coaches reference it, talk about it, that you can't coach them hard. You have to pat them on the rear end a little bit more than normal. I think also where you see this show up, Coach, is not just how they're coached, but also how you operate in games. I know Hugh Freeze told one TV crew, because they said it on the broadcast last year, I forget the game, it was a lower tier game, that they were going to feed Cam Coleman in that game. There was going to be an emphasis to get him the football. Do you think that that's just because you think he's that good? Do you think that that's because that really sets up that much for the next 2 or 3 opponents? No, that's to hopefully prevent him from wanting to leave where he is. And he's not the only coach doing that, by the way. It happens a lot of places where you can see the ball being forced to certain individuals because they know they got to keep them happy. Now, does that happen in the NFL some? Yeah, but that's also probably the only matchup you feel comfortable winning at that point in time. So I think it plays into what the path you're going down. I think it plays into a lot of different areas of today's college football. How they're coached, how they're recruited, how they're managed.
Ain't no doubt.
I mean, Clark Lee has told us he's completely changed his philosophy on punishment and how guys are punishment and who he punishes for multiple reasons, by the way. 1, he doesn't want them to want to leave. 2, I mean, he said straight up that one of the things that the new coaching staff brought with them was, hey, you can punish your guys all you want, but don't punish our best players for games. That's dumb. We need our best players to go try to win games. Punish them, make them do something else. Don't suspend them for games. And so he's changed his philosophy in a lot of ways because of kind of where today's college football is.
Well, we said I'll let Greg. We know we all will go back to the Oklahoma and Vanderbilt game that Alabama wasn't ready to play. The next year now we're saying, were they tough on? Were they tough? They didn't leave because the practices were soft. We don't know the answer to that at all. I'm anxious for Greg to answer this because he's in the skill position. Not that you weren't a skilled player, you were, but Greg, you think you're more skilled. So tell your thoughts on making guys not worry about and I didn't, because I didn't pay any players. If they didn't want to play, they'd sit their fannies on the bench of 8-8. And my guys loved me. My guys loved me after they got through playing. I get stuff from them all the time. I got something last week. But when they were playing for me, they didn't care for me. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I think part of what's challenging nowadays is the guys need to stay hungry. I mean, sometimes, you get a big paycheck. Natural human tendency is to take the path of least resistance. You're comfortable, so you maybe aren't going to grind as hard as you once did. I think the coaches that have the most success are the guys that have that relationship where that while guys might get paid and be comfortable, they're still going out and doing everything they need to do to position themselves to have even more success on the field to collect a bigger check down the road. So I think that's where the relationship really matters. Is it's one thing to be comfortable. It's one thing to get taken care of. That's great. But those that elevate are unsatisfied with that comfort level, and they desire to accomplish more. And the coaches that can reach the guys and do that the best are going to be best positioned to do some of those things.
The women's basketball coach at South Carolina has put in a rule with her team. They are not to discuss anything financially about what they are getting with their teammates. You don't discuss whatever I'm getting from the university, however I'm getting my money. I don't discuss it with any of the.
How do you even enforce that, Coach? Like, come on.
I don't know that you do.
For me, I'm just gonna be honest with you. That's for show. It's for show. It's for show. You can't make kids not talk about something. Come on.
I understand that, but I do think it cuts down a little bit. Not much. I understand what you're saying, but my mamas and the daddies trying to figure out, trying to find out stuff, the gossip that goes on, the lack of playing time.
All you got to do is call the agent. Apparently, they'll tell anybody how much their clients are getting. They don't care.
We got a good segment going here.
No, but I'm just saying. I appreciate the thought behind it, but you coached. I mean, imagine telling one of your players, "Hey, don't tell everybody else that I'm leaning on you with your grades." Like, she's just trying to find out who's going to come back to her and tell her that so and so told them what they're getting.
Yeah, well, when I coached, if I won't say it. Greg, anything?
Not on that.
Isn't it the opposite of the Saban model too that he said he wanted? Of everybody from what the school is allowed to give should be getting the same. And then if you're cool enough or pretty enough or marketable enough or popular enough to go get a Gatorade commercial or a Lululemon commercial or whatever, then that's on you. You go get that. That's fine.
But I'm just curious, like, Coach, how often are you talking about your salary with your friends? I guess that's my biggest question. Like, hey, Cole, like when you're sitting around hanging out with your buddies in the neighborhood or whatnot, like you often talk.
So what y'all making? I need to change careers.
I need to know what y'all are making.
I need to think about different.
Let me see that W-2.
Y'all are the difference is that you two are playing together, and you don't worry about each other. If I'm lined up against a lineman, or I'm a quarterback, or running back, or whatever, and you're the quarterback, I'm kind of, I ran for a touchdown, and you get more money. It's a little, of course, as I said, when people call me old school, no personality, whatever I am. I don't know. I didn't want my guys to ever, we weren't paying them. I didn't want my guys to quit. But I had Robert Ory Robert Ory's on my show the other day, and going to be on my show. And I said, how many times I kicked you out of practice? 6? He said, no, it's just twice. So, while they're playing for you, I think this kind of goes different ways, what I did and what they're doing today. And I know the money factor is big.
But, Coach, I will say this. What Greg says is extremely accurate, and it's right. However, he, just like me, I'd be willing to bet, have heard boatloads of coaches talking about how kids are talking to each other about what they're making. And the worst part is, this is what I've been told by coaches, the worst aspect is when a guy comes from, say, SEC school to SEC school, and he starts telling everybody what he made and what everybody else on the team was making. That's a big problem, because I know a couple of coaches who have gotten a guy who was a backup at one school, and he's come in and said, well, I'm just using a round number here. I was making $300 there last year. And that's more than the starters at his position are making at new school.
Yeah.
You don't think that gets people talking a little bit and that gets the kids angry? Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say so. I'd also say that how often are these players actually telling the truth? That's the other question. Because
we'll never know.
Knowing my son, who's 6, he talks about how he can throw a football 78 yards. It's like there's a slight to moderate exaggeration with what he thinks is reality. You know what I mean? Like right. Kids, I hear kids all the time, but literally their soccer team last year lost like 8-1. And I swear you asked 3 of the kids in the car, hey, how'd the game go? We won. What was the score? 13-3. Like, no, y'all lost like 8-2. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think that changes much until you get to like 25, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I had a call. I know I need to get out off of here, but I had a call from a guy, how would Coach Brian handle the lack of the discipline part of it, and also paying the players. I said, Coach Brian, as I told you about scheduling last time, and I and Cole like that part. Coach Brian would handle it both ways. He would there. If you went to see Coach Brian, if you went to see Nick Saban, you knocked on your door before you went in. If you go to see some coaches, you don't. You just slip in there through the secretary. But there's a air around the program that you know what's going to happen if things don't go the way they should go. He would get the guy disciplined on one end himself, or they'll be scared to do much things, kick a football on the field like some of the Alabama players did. He'd get that straight. And if he didn't want to lose them, he'd have 5 or 6 guys that were buddies of his that had the jack to be sure that they took care of them so they wouldn't leave. He did it both ways and kept it pretty quiet. He kept the discipline. At the same time, if he needed to do something to keep a guy there, he would do that. He'd come out of the towers. When he rung that chain and came down those steps on those towers, you didn't know whether his little butt was going after a coach or a player. And he kept the lack of discipline. I'm just jumping from one to another. Comes with being late for a meeting, for not doing this, for not doing that. And a lot of people say, well, nobody quit at Alabama because they're easy on them. I don't know that because we hadn't played in the second season yet. But I think these things are pretty interesting to your listeners. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not.
No, I think it's super interesting, Coach, and I love getting your opinion on it and love hearing your thoughts on it. So thanks for hopping on with us today. We know each and every week, and we enjoy having you every week, regardless of what you think. You are brought to us by Coke and Piggly Wiggly.
What does he think I think, Greg? He thinks I think.
No, I think you think we don't enjoy having you because every single week you started with, well, I guess I don't know what you guys want to talk with me about. It's football season.
Well,
I'm just an old basketball
all that
coach.
NBA crap, and I'm gonna tell him something before I give the ad. He ain't gonna like this. The guy from Duke is the great player. He can be defended.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Counterpoint.
Okay, counterpoint. Go to Piggly Wiggly.
Counterpoint.
Go ahead,
Hold on.
What?
They don't play defense in the NBA. Therefore, he can't. He can't be defended because they don't do it.
They do in the second half of the fourth quarter in the playoffs.
When they start playing the organ in the Garden, that's when they start playing defense. By the way, I do that when I'm playing defense on my kids in the driveway.
I'll be run off here. Piggly Wiggly. If you'll go in Piggly Wiggly, you'll be so happy. They'll have meats. They'll have vegetables. There'll be a courtesy. People will be courteous to. They'll do everything. Piggly Wiggly's the best. They're all friends of mine, Andy and Stan. I go to lunch with them every week. And if you need something grocery-wise, you get your little fannies to Piggly Wiggly. And Coca-Cola is a great drink. When I first got my job at Alabama, after being there 20 years, I had a little Coca-Cola ad on my little show when I first started, before we started doing pretty good. Then I got a big one. Thank you guys for having me on. I hope I didn't ruin y'all's NBA thoughts.
No, you're great. We appreciate it, Coach.
All right. Later. Bye.
Thanks. I did not know that Wimp Sanderson had the disrespect for Con Knippel's game that he does.
He's down.
He said he can be defended.
Love
so
it.
There it is. All right. Or maybe he's referencing Kaman Malach.
The big guy?
By the way, when I was looking over the NBA draft for a moment, do you know how many picks are in the first 2 rounds, or the only 2 rounds total? I would have known, but I'm just asking if you know.
30?
59. 25 players of the 59 drafted were traded. 25 of 59. Why are you even drafting the guys that you're drafting if they're just going to go play somewhere else? Is it all just a race to get the next guy that somebody else thinks might be good, and then we just dump them?
Not everybody's going pro, or everybody's going pro, and not everybody's going pro in some other sports, whatever it is.
We're all going pro in something other than sports, Greg.
Correct.
By the way, John, the 25 second-round pick for the Knickerbockers was rescinded by the NCAA.
Okay.
Not the NCAA, but the NBA. If the NCAA pulled that off, they do have struggle.
They might be back.
They would be back. Is there anything better than when the Knicks are good and the Garden starts? I do that to my kid in the driveway, by the way. He's always wondering what I'm doing when I'm playing defense. He's like, stop doing that, Dad. And I'm like, see, it works. I mean, it didn't work against Jordan, but for a lot of other people, it worked. Back with more Mac and Cube next.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, 3-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
Leave me alone.
God, life is good. I like our show.
Before we get to Major Applewhite, can you tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services?
They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. Whether they need your whole home packed up and move, your company headquarters from across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchase need to get to your home. Call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's crockermovingservices.com. That's crockermovingservices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
All right, let's go back to the Higginbotham hotline. And speaking of quarterbacks, we had a lot of quarterback conversation today. We'll continue that with Major Applewhite, who's going to join us, catch up on his football team at South Alabama, and then maybe a little bit about his offense. Coach, we were talking about, say, traditional bootlegs, traditional play actions where you turn your back to the defense. Is this something that you feel is still important, you like to implement, you don't have time for? Where would you be on these things?
I see the benefit, and I see both sides of it. There's good times and bad times for every football play.
That might be the most accurate quote in the history of our show. There's a good time and bad time for every football play.
Gosh, there's a lot of ways to get in the end zone. A lot of ways.
There's no doubt. A lot of coaches, though, they want their quarterback facing the defense all the time now, and they don't want them. They don't want that bootleg where even though it can split the defense, you got to turn around and you don't know what the defense is doing. Then is it because most quarterbacks came up that way and that's the systems that they're running? That would be my thought process in it.
Well, I mean, you get a chance to frame the ball and hide the football. When you turn around and you have the football, you're using your body as a frame. It's really difficult for defenses to see when you're sitting sidecar in the shotgun and sticking the football out in front of you like a platter. People can see the football. So there's benefits to both. Sometimes it's really hard for the quarterback to get around and see what the defense is doing. So you do want him sticking the ball out in front of his face like a platter so he can see if a defensive end's coming at him. Other times you'd rather better ball fake because you're getting heavier play action. You'd rather turn around and, hide it from the defense, pull it out, and throw it over their heads. So there's and there's 1,000 other reasons other than just those two.
Coach, as you go throughout this fall camp and enjoyed catching up the last couple of weeks, a lot of competition ongoing. None bigger probably than the quarterback situation. But at this point of camp, we're starting to see guys get named. What is the perfect timeline in your eyes as a guy that has played the position and has been in a quarterback competition himself as a player at Texas? What is the perfect timeline to make that decision on which direction you guys are going to go with your quarterback position?
Yeah, I think that's different with every team, every quarterback, kind of competition or whatever you want to call it. But I think the most important thing is that you call it when the team knows it. I don't think it has to be simultaneous, but the team understands who the best quarterback is. They're at practice every day, and they can understand the reps. You don't have to come out. And what I mean by say it is it's reflective in the reps. It's reflective in what the team looks like at practice. you don't have to have a press conference and name your starting quarterback. People can look and see who's working with the ones majority of the time and know that's your starting quarterback. Now, when you decide to tell your fans and those type of things, that's a different question. But the players know it. They see it every day in repetitions. They see who gets reps with the ones. They see how you rotate, and they can kind of understand where things are headed.
How has your quarterback competition gone so far through fall camp for you guys down there in Mobile?
It's been good. All three of the guys have worked hard. And they've made their plays. They've made their kind of growing pain learns, and I'm learning them better, learn how to coach them better at the same time as well. This Saturday we'll have another scrimmage, and Bishop Davenport has gotten the majority of our first team reps, and he started a couple games for us last year and had a really good spring. And then when Gio Lopez entered the portal, we go to North Carolina. He continued to get better, and has earned those opportunities. And so, but this Saturday, I was getting to my point, the other two quarterbacks will get a lot more reps with the one unit. I'll get a chance to see them operate, and Greg can tell you, and we all know that, sometimes when you get with that first group, there's not as much on your plate. You're not explaining to the backup wide receiver, the backup running back what to do, and you're able to get in there and, kind of not be everybody's chaperone. You're able to get in there and go play. And so I'll get a chance to watch those two guys operate a little bit more Saturday.
Coach, you guys have been hit a bunch by guys leaving the program for various reasons. You referenced Gio, Fluff going in the portal in the offseason, ending up at Mississippi State. But it feels like with their departures, it's opened up for a lot of competition. It's probably allowing for guys that are really hungry and eager to take over that spot. Have you noticed now, because of the opportunities that some of your players have gotten elsewhere, have you noticed an increase in the interior competition that you guys are having at those spots that are vacated?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny, guys are, it's odd, because, man, I hate to lose my friend. And you're like, no, you don't. Now you get to go start. You don't hate to lose your friend. You're ready for some of these guys to go because you want to play as a quarterback. You want to play as a running back. You want to play as a tackle. And I mean, it's Greg, when we were playing, guys couldn't leave like that. I mean, you either had to beat the guy out or he had to get injured, and you didn't want that. That's not the way you wanted to get the job. You wanted to beat him out or some other circumstance. But now, you could be sitting there as a freshman and you're on your little kind of developmental plan, and then all of a sudden these two guys take off in front of you, and it's your time to go. It's your time to play. And so it's the old, be ready. Be ready. You don't know now. It's totally different than it was a few years back. So, yes, there are some guys that are extremely motivated now. That some things have kind of been moved out of the way. They can see a clearer path to the playing field. And then there's guys who have come here who have seen that, hey, they lost this position. This is a great place to go. I can go fill that spot. And we've got a lot of great competition in a lot of different positions. Looking
at what you have back defensively, a lot of new faces. You do have some proven production. Guys that have made some plays for you in the past. Last year, you guys were really good at turning folks over. You really have been good at turning folks over for a number of years now. What growth can we expect on that side of the ball from where they were last year?
Well, I think inside our backers are returning. So Blaine Myrick from Fairhope is a returning, preseason all conference. I know those awards preseason don't mean much, but they do to me because I've watched Blaine play, and I think he's a really good football player. He's got great instincts, and he's a better athlete than you think. So we're better inside at the backer position, deeper there. We have a lot of good young talent that just hasn't played a lot of experience on-field experience, but we have a lot of good talent and length and size inside. I'm eager to see our front. We've kind of hung our hat on some of the older guys the last couple of years, so I'm eager to see these younger guys play for us. There will be some growing pains, no doubt, early in the season, especially when you're playing people like Tulane and Auburn. You're going to get tested, but that's going to be good for some of those guys because I think there's a lot of potential in there. Corner is a position that's been tough for us. I mean, I'll just call it what it is. We lost 3 guys to the portal. We lost 1 to Ole Miss. We lost 1 to Wake Forest. We lost 1 to Kansas State. So when you play 4 corners and 3 of them leave in the portal, it's not add water or instant grits, especially if you don't have $20.5 million. So it's go out and find somebody, get somebody who's younger, get them better, do your job, be a coach, develop this guy. It's tough, but it is what it is. That's what I see defensively. I think some of the safety play will be better. I think we've got some range back there and some guys who played some snaps. So, some areas a little bit better, some areas not as deep, not as strong.
It feels like your philosophy in the portal is get guys closer back to home a little bit. You got a couple of players from the state of Alabama that are going to be back competing for spots on your roster from getting guys out of the portal to try to come play for you? Has that been a big emphasis point of either locally there, Mobile kids, we know how much talent's coming out of there every year, or just guys from the state of Alabama to be able to come back and play in the state they played high school ball in?
It is. It's not as strong of a pull as it was 2 or 3 years ago because the revenue share.
Right.
Once that occurred and, 4 or 5 conferences started getting, whatever that number is, they're all working towards $20.5 million. You may have a young man that leaves from, say, south of Montgomery, and Troy and South Alabama are the best opportunities for him to come back. He decided to go to Michigan, and it was too far, and he didn't like it, and now he wants to leave. But Michigan paid him $400,000 to go up there. Well, there's a lot of other opportunities between $400,000 at Michigan and the amount that we're able to pay him. So sometimes they stop at Memphis for $125. Sometimes they stop at XYZ for $150. So it's not what it was 4 or 5 years ago when it was just simply NIL money. There's a heck of a lot more money there now. So it's a little bit different. That's the reality of it. Yes, that is a draw. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It is a draw. You do want to get back closer to home, your mom, your dad, everybody see you play. But when somebody else calls you from maybe the Big 12 and says, hey, I know it didn't work out for you in the Big 10, but we'll pay you half of what you were making over there, and you can come over here to Waco. Then that kid, sometimes he just listens to that still. And so it can be a positive, and at the same time, money's important to people. And so, they make those kind of decisions based on money. Same reason we're probably doing this radio interview. That's why people do things. And so they're making decisions based off of what money's best. So, yes, you can get guys to come back, but you're probably not getting them if they're at that level and they're making that kind of money. It's not just a direct step to the school.
There's no denying, though, Coach, that you guys at South are in the midst of one of the great eras of South Alabama football history. And I know it's not the longest history in the world, but it's arguably the best 3-year stretch ever. 3 straight winning seasons, a lot of really positive moments here over the last few years. Have you noticed a difference? You've been there now for a little bit. Have you noticed a difference now with the acknowledgement of the quality that y'all are playing down in Mobile compared to maybe when you took the job? Just the proof of concept playing out and the success that you've had has to now lead to different conversations with a different type of player.
You're right, 100%. I see it in the eyes of the kids that we're recruiting. When I was here in 2021, obviously we were still coming off some of the COVID restrictions and those things, but whenever they came to camp, or you had a chance to see them during that first season in 2021 when they came, it was, a lot of looking around, trying to take in, what is this? I've heard about South Alabama. I've heard about some wins, but and then over the course of those 3 years, been going to 2 bowl games and then winning one again last year, kids understand, okay, I know where we're at. I know who you are. I saw you on this Tuesday night game. I heard about the Oklahoma State game when y'all went up there. There's a little bit more recognition, familiarity. And kids see this as an opportunity, even though some might see it as a negative, when you do have the number of players that have gone to the portal and are going to, be at great spots, great schools, and I love my school, don't get me wrong, but, these kids are looking at it and saying, hey, I want to play at the highest level. I want to play for Alabama. I want to play for Georgia. I want to play for Texas and Notre Dame. And that's the way kids come out of high school. But they also understand this is a great education, very close to home. There's a lot of really good football players that have come here. Some have played 12 games and moved on. Some have played 24 games and moved on. But when they see our campus and they see what we have here in Mobile and it's close and the proximity to their families, they see it as much more of a real opportunity. And, I don't have to state the obvious. My God, we got a lot of great football players, right here off of I-10 between Baton Rouge and Tallahassee. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Well, Coach, we wish you the best. We appreciate the time that you gave us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It's been a joy watching your team the last few years, and hope you guys can continue that this season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a great week.
Absolutely. Major Applewhite, South Alabama head football coach, joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. And, it's tough to argue with a lot that he throws out there, G-Mac. It's accurate. It's where we are in today's college football.
It is, but it's amazing, I think, what South has kind of carved out. A program that was kind of born not too long ago to now becoming a team that is a perennial bowl team. and a team with legitimate expectations this year. And while the Sun Belt is rock solid now, I mean, that's a really, really good league. Everyone will tell you that. The personnel in that league is tremendous. And the teams that you'll have to face from a talent standpoint year in, year out is a handful. There's no secret. South and many others in the Sun Belt, their players are actively getting recruited by other places because of how good the talent is in that conference as a whole. So I think there's a lot to be excited about with South. I think Major's done a good job once Kane decided to become the DC at Bama. I think Major's done a good job stepping in and kind of keeping things the same, kind of keeping things on the same straight line path that they were on, but tough schedule this year. And they had some diamonds in the rough that were found. And now finding some of those replacements for the guys that left will be a real challenge. But it's hard to bet against them, given what they've done the last few years.
No, there is. He's got some options at quarterback, as you mentioned. You get Zach Pyron from Georgia Tech. You got Bishop Davenport there. He said he'll get more reps in the spring. But going back to what you pointed out, Darius McKenzie, quarterback of the defense, back. Blaine Myrick back at off-the-ball linebacker as well. That's two of your top three leading tacklers that are back from a year ago. And he sounds like he feels pretty good about some of the younger defensive linemen. Well, have been younger in previous years, but now their turn to maybe step in and be able to do some damage up front. So it'll be an interesting watch because, as you stated, quarterback, running back, you lose two of those that were as productive as they were, it's concerning. But I'll say this, after it all went down and I went back to watch Fluff Bothwell because I was going to have to cover Mississippi State, Kentrell Bullock is a kid that I kept seeing showing up on film, and I was like, which one are they getting? Because I like both these guys.
Yeah.
And he can go. So they'll be fine at running back. I mean, kid averaged basically 12 yards a carry last year on 152 carries.
Right.
I mean, he's explosive. So there are parts of his game that I like more than Bothwell's. But you lose a quarterback that had what Gio had, that's tough, man. You can't just replug that.
No, I mean, he was a good player for him. But I like Zach Pyron, who they brought down from Georgia Tech. He filled in a couple times last year when Haynes King was a little banged up. Like, he's got some mobility, he's got some athleticism. But it sounds like the guy that is kind of holding things down, Gavin, is doing a pretty good job with where they're at. Has a good feel for the position, or Bishop Davenport, not Gavin. Bishop Davenport has a good feel for what they do offensively, has already spot started in the past. So with him having a leg up, it's good, but it's nice to know that competition is going to continue on this weekend. They're going to get a good long look from the other two guys, see if those guys can potentially unseat Bishop Davenport there in the lead spot. But they have depth at that position, which is helpful because there is some turnover on both lines of scrimmage.
All right, so we got some other college football news to get you on the other side, other football news in general, a new coach in state, a new stadium going up, some transfer news, eligibility news. We'll get to all of that around all of football next on Mac and Cube in the morning.
The capital of the sports talk nation. This is Jocks 94.5 and JocksFM.com. Birmingham.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy Cubelic in the morning. I have some other football news we're going to get to here in just a moment. John, do me a favor. Play clip 11. And I'm not going to lead into it. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is. I have two names that I want to throw out during this segment that I just want to get your responses to. Play clip 11 for everyone just to hear quickly.
I say it's been definitely humbling. It's a little hotter up here, that wise in the summer. But the football definitely been humbling, bigger, faster, stronger guys.
That is a quarterback maybe on the roster at Missouri. Greg, do you want to take a guess at who that is?
Prabula.
Nate Johnson.
Ah.
Yeah, that was my response.
He's been around for a minute.
He's still in there?
Let's go. The guy from Utah?
Vandy, Utah, now Missouri.
Let's go.
I was also watching some
good
highlights.
Good bootleg quarterback.
Very good bootleg quarterback. Yes, I've actually had some good responses on Twitter to that question. I was watching some highlights of different teams yesterday, and I saw some Duke highlights. And Darian Mensah completed a pass to
Cooper Flag.
No.
Conkinipple.
He's easily defended, John. Remember? He couldn't go up and catch that. Nope.
What position? Tight end or receiver?
Hybrid. Right in between those two.
Landon King.
Some fans would say definitively tight end. Other fans would say has to be a wide receiver.
Landon King.
Mm-hmm.
That boy's still playing college ball.
He's back.
God.
If only he was at Auburn. Think
If
how
only
good
he
they'd
was a
be as
receiver.
Cam Colvin.
Wasting him at tight end.
Yeah. Landon King.
Love that.
I love seeing those names show up just out of. You're like, that kid still plays college football.
There's
Hot
so many
damn.
of those. There's so
There's a
many
ton.
of those.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them. All right, some other news. Kusha Christian has hired Russ Probst as its interim head football coach.
Where?
Kusa Christian.
It's in Gadsden. Okay, just wanted to see if there was anything on that.
I
Anybody
just
have?
pulled up the article. I got to read it.
Well, I feel like I gave you
Yeah, the gist
the
of it.
takeaways. If you need further details on it, go right ahead.
I'm gonna go find
Feel
some.
free. Have you talked to your dad about Hawaii getting a new Aloha Stadium?
No, I haven't. But Hawaii is a little bit of a sneaky good team this year.
If they build a new stadium out there, though, I mean, we see all these people building stadiums to get certain things. I imagine they're going to get some things. They get the Pro Bowl back?
I think they are going back to Hawaii this year. I think I saw that recently. Like they're going back at some point here pretty soon. It was in Orlando and Vegas, a bunch of other spots. I think they are going back to Hawaii at some point.
All right, a couple starting quarterbacks. Michigan transfer Jaden Dingle is going to start at San Diego State, and Colorado, Nevada quarterback Brendan Lewis is going to get the start at Memphis. He does move the meter for you.
Yeah.
Also, Oregon State transfer Ben Gulbertson is going to be the starter at Stanford.
Stanford.
Correct. Not Samford, not Chris Hatcher's team. Stanford.
Correct.
Yes.
I would say that the Memphis one is interesting with Brandon Lewis because Memphis is one of those teams that's always going to have pretty decent talent. It's the first time they've had a new quarterback, I think, in a decade. So that one is probably worth following a little bit for sure.
Tennessee is going back to Adidas,
Adidas.
but it's a little bit more than just that. Not necessarily a reason to just go and get a new apparel deal. Apparently, there's going to be more money that Tennessee is going to inject into the athletic department in different ways. So this may be a new agreement moving ahead as to sort of how these partnerships are going to take place. Also, On3 reported yesterday, dramatic pause, Tennessee is trending towards naming Joey Aguilar the starting quarterback.
Crystal ball?
Oh, boy.
If you want to do that,
If
you want to walk out on that limb and tell me that Tennessee is trending towards Joey Aguilar as a starter, you go out on that limb by yourself, sir.
I don't think that's unlikely. But what I would say about
what
it.
are we doing? What are we doing?
What? What's wrong with that?
We're attempting to break news by saying that the obvious starter is being trended upon towards maybe being the starter. Are we just out of things to talk about?
Based on what I've been told, he's not the obvious starter. It sounds like
You're
George
right.
McIntyre, the freshman, has had a really good camp.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that Aguilar
Put
won't
him
end
out
up
there
being the
week
guy.
one. Good luck with that.
I'm not saying he needs to start week one. I'm just saying that the competition's maybe been a little bit more intense
You're
than
going to have to
originally
fight your
anticipated.
rear end off to win that game anyway. Go out there with a freshman quarterback, see how that goes.
I'm just telling you what the buzz is. Don't yell at
The
me.
buzz is that it's trending towards Joey Aguilar, actually.
I'm not
I don't
saying
know what
it's
buzz
not.
you got. I got the buzz that
It's
has been
trending.
reported. It is actually reported buzz.
That's fine.
This maybe right here is factual. Okay? This probability
It's always
is of
factual.
certainty. I don't know what your maybes are, but this possibility that is being trended upon is actual factual news that's being reported.
Was it a graphic?
Sir?
Was
No.
there a graphic?
I got to go back and look. Probably. Knowing them, yeah, maybe. Sure. Why not? Back with more after this.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, and three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
All right, so yesterday I went on with our friend Matt Moscona in Baton Rouge. And we had a further conversation about his take on LSU's offensive line last year, which he thinks that they couldn't run block. I take that personal. I don't think they were given the chance to be good run blockers. You can get a chance to be healthier at Game Day Men's Health. If you're lacking sleep, lacking energy, feeling on edge, have brain fog, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Sign up for the free consultation, free PSA test, free testosterone test, And you get minimal upfront cost in the programs they offer. Save 10% on anything they do by mentioning Mac and Cube in the morning at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. So I went on and we got this back and forth, and he's frustrated, I'm frustrated. I was like, all you got to do is hand the ball. He's like, how can he asked me, how can they help this group be better at run blocking this year? And I said, pick a human on earth and just hand them the football. That's literally it. That's all you got to do. So Living Lambo, some random Twitter account that is an LSU fan, he said, Matt, and I'm tagged in this, so I saw it also. I went back and looked at how many times LSU ran the ball in back-to-back plays last season. You want to take a guess? Rush plays on consecutive downs over the course of an entire season.
Does that include taking 2 consecutive knees?
I'm going to say no. But
11.
No, that would be beyond egregious.
I was about to say,
we're talking about an entire season
31
of plays.
Yeah, I was going to say
31. Damien, you go with how many?
40.
40 times. Let's go to LSU offense. How many plays did they run last year? Let's see. They had 534 pass attempts, and they had 373 rush attempts. All right, so what? We're about 1,000 plays? According to Living Lambo, 28 times in an entire season they ran the ball in consecutive downs. Then he follows it up with, of those 28, 13 were a downs to first down situation. So if it were 2nd and 4, they ran for 6, they would then run it again on first down. Probably not easy to pick that out at all.
No.
Safe to say LSU run game hit the floor last year, Greg. But Chanel Flooring can maybe help them.
They can. They have tremendous inventory on stock. 40,000 square feet of Cortec flooring by Shaw in stock. You get $10 off per box if you just go online to footandU.com. You can stack those savings. You also get 12 months financing. Shinar Flooring does an amazing job, and that Cortec flooring is dependable, durable, reliable, and will increase the value of your home or office. Go and check them out at footandU.com.
All right, when we come back tomorrow morning, we will dive into SEC quarterback transfers. Who has the best season? Also, some of the early massive SEC matchups. How those teams have to win those games. 3-man front, however, will be next.
This is McElroy and Cubelic in the morning.